Good morning, dear students. Today I am going to continue the second chapter, that is class 7, Nutrition in Animals. In the last class we have started this chapter. Now let me give the small gist of that lesson. Okay. So animals are not able to prepare their own food. So they are known as heterotrophs. So they are depends on plants. So some animals directly depends on plants and some animals indirectly depends on plants. So based on their nutrition, based on their way of nutrition, they can be classified into three types. The main three types of animals are herbivore. Herbivores are the animals which directly depends on plants for their nutrition. The second group is carnivores. Carnivores, they depends on herbivores. They indirectly depends on plants. So their food is herbivores. So they are indirectly depends on plants. So they are known as carnivores. And animals which eat both plants and animals are known as omnivores. So we can observe three categories of animals. And in the nutrition process of animals, we can see 5 steps. The major 5 steps in the nutrition process are: the first step is ingestion. The process of ingestion starts from the mouth. Ingestion means intake of the food. And second one is ingestion, then digestion. Digestion, it continues in all the digestive system parts, all the parts of the digestive system. They are in some animals it include mouth, esophagus and stomach, intestine and all. So it is a long process. After that, absorption. Okay, once the digestion is over, the next step is absorption of the required materials into the body. Then next step in the nutrition process is assimilation. What is assimilation? Assimilation means spreading throughout the all parts of the body. It's a process of supply of the required nutrition to all parts of the body. After that, last step is egestion or the excretion. Egestion means removal of the waste material from the body or the removal of undigested food from the body. So in most of the animals, all these amoeba and all these unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms, the nutrition process follows these steps, whatever I have discussed now. In the last class, I have started how the nutrition process takes place in the human beings, how the digestive system works in the human beings. So, we all know the first step in the digestion process is ingestion of the food. Okay, in the process of ingestion, what happens? The food what we take is chewed by making use of the muscular tongue and the teeth, and using the saliva which is secreted by the salivary gland. The food becomes wet. It makes the food wet. It moistens the food. So it can easily pass through the esophagus. Okay, in the mouth, by making use of all these teeth, muscular tongue and using the salivary glands, the food becomes moistened. That moistened food we call it as a bolus or the ball. Okay, it becomes soft. So it can easily pass through this soft pipe. Okay, this pipe is very smooth, very soft. So it can pass through the food pipe. The food pipe is known as esophagus. Okay, then in the esophagus, what happens? When the food enters through the esophagus, we can see the movement of the bolus, the moistened food. There is contraction and expansion throughout the pipe. Okay, there is continuous push and pull Okay, whenever the food passes through this esophagus, there is continuous contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion takes place. So it can be pushed into the stomach. This esophagus is the connection between mouth and the liver. Once the food enters the stomach, what happens? Now let us discuss. The food which is digested in the mouth enters the stomach. Stomach is a muscular organ. Okay, it is placed in the left side of the left side above the abdomen. Okay, it is placed left side above the abdomen. So in the stomach also digestion process takes place. How the digestion process takes place in the mouth? Like that. And around 4 hours the digestion process takes place in the stomach. Okay, by the action of digestive juices and by the action of acids and by the action of mucus. Okay, digestion process takes place. So what is the role of this digestive juices? The digestive juices will convert the protein into simpler substance. The food what we take is a complex structure. So it converts the protein into simpler substances. So it can be absorbed, it can be further digested easily in the small intestine and all. Like that. So the protein will be converted into simpler substance by the action of digestive juices. And also this digestive juices helps to increase the action of enzymes on the digestive food. Enzymes are nothing but the materials which convert the substance into simpler substances. How this saliva will convert the food into simpler substances, like that this enzymes also convert the food into simpler substances. So, and then there is action of acid we can observe. The stomach produces hydrochloric acid. So what is the role of this hydrochloric acid? This acid prevents the germs and bacteria which is present in the digestive food. Okay, sometimes the food what we eat, it can be involve some bacteria. Okay, germs and all. So this hydrochloric acid, this will kill the germs and bacteria present in the digestive food material. In the stomach, we can observe the action of mucus. The walls of the stomach containing mucus. Okay, so what is the role of this mucus? This mucus prevents the action of acid on the stomach. Sometimes the stomach produces lots of hydrochloric acid. It may corrode the surface of this stomach wall. That is why it prevents the digestion of the stomach wall from the acid. So it takes care about the stomach structure. It takes care about the stomach. So the large quantity of this acid will not harm the stomach. This digestion process in the stomach takes place around 4 hours. The food will be digested in the stomach around 4 hours. And there is also, we can observe the peristaltic movement of the food. Why? Because so the food can be mixed properly with the digestive juices, acid and as enzymes. So it can be digested. So there is also in the, when the food is in the stomach, we can observe the contraction and expansion of the stomach wall. So it can be digested properly. Once the digestion takes place, once the digestion in the stomach is over, the food will be converted into semi-solid. That we call it as chyme.
Chyme. What is chyme? A semi-solid mass of partially digested food that passes from stomach to small intestine is known as chyme.
This chyme will be passed into the small intestine. In the next step, the digested food will be transferred into the small intestine. Now let us discuss what is the role of this small intestine. Before that, what is chyme? Chyme is the semi-solid digested food which is released from the stomach. This chyme will enter the small intestine. Okay, what is a small intestine? How does it look? This small intestine is a very long tube-like structure. It is around the size of this small intestine is almost 6 feet. It is coiled and placed in a congested place. So, large quantity of major digestion process takes place in small intestine. Okay, this small intestine makes use of the bile juice which is released from the liver. Okay, this liver secretes the bile juice in order for the digestion process. This liver secretes the bile juice that will be stored in the gallbladder. The liver secretes the bile juice and it will be stored in the gallbladder. And whenever this small intestine requires the bile juice for the digestion process, this gallbladder will send the bile juice into the small intestine. So it acts like the bank. Whenever it acts like the packet. It stores the bile juice. Bile juice convert the food what we eat, the digestive food involve the fats, proteins and other glucose, all these substances, carbohydrates and all. So they will this bile juice will convert the fat into simpler substance. So bile juice will be released into the small intestine for the digestion process. And also there is pancreas. Okay, behind the stomach there is leaves like structure. That this pancreas releases pancreatic juices, which is required for the digestion process taking place in the small intestine. So this small intestine makes use of the bile juice which is released from the gallbladder and the pancreatic juice which is released from the pancreas for the digestion process. And also this small intestine also, the walls of the small intestine also releases the digestive juices. So large quantity of digestion process takes place. This bile juice will convert the fat into simpler substances, and the digestive juices which is released from the small intestine, it also converts the fat into simpler substances and protein into simpler substances. The food what we eat contain large amount of starch. Okay, so this pancreatic juice will convert the this starch into simple sugars and protein into simpler substances. So all the fats, proteins and starch, all this complex material will be converted into simpler substances by making use of this bile juice and pancreatic juice and digestive juices in the small intestine. Also this small intestine, the digestion process is over now. Also this small intestine plays an important role in absorption of the digested food material. Okay, how? Now let us discuss. This the walls of the small intestine having the finger-like structure. The walls of the small intestine having the finger-like structure, that we call it as villi. Okay, this villi have the large surface area. This finger-like structure having increases the surface area. So the large quantity of digested food can be absorbed by the walls of the small intestine.
What is villi? The inner walls of the small intestine have numerous projections that we call it as villi that helps to absorb the digested food material.
This small intestine walls will absorb the digested food. Okay, and it will send the digested food material, required food into all parts of the body. This walls of the small intestine is connected to the blood vessels. So the absorbed food material will be supplied to the blood vessels. So these blood vessels will supply the required materials to all parts of the body, which are the proteins, proteins, fat and glucose, everything into all parts of the body through the blood vessels. There is connection between small intestine walls and the blood vessels. These blood vessels will transport all these required nutrients. Once a required amount of food is absorbed by the small intestine, the remaining material, the remaining undigested food will be transport to the large intestine. Okay, next step is the food will enter into the large intestine. What is the difference between this small intestine and the large intestine? This large intestine, the size of the large intestine was little thicker, and size of this is small. The size is almost 1.5 feet compared to the small intestine. It was very thick tube, and size of this is smaller compared to the small intestine. So in the large intestine, the required minerals and vitamins can be absorbed by the large intestine. This large intestine will absorb the required amount of water, minerals and vitamins. So its role is to absorb the water, vitamins and minerals. Once all these things is absorbed by the large intestine, the food is next passed into the rectum. Okay, what is that? The undigested food, the waste material which is not required for the body. In the rectum, the food will be stored for a while. For some time, the food will be the undigested food, the waste material will be stored in the rectum. Then it is sent it through the anus. That process we call it as defecation. What is defecation? The undigested food will be stored in the rectum for some time, and then it will be sent it to anus. Through the anus it will be removed. That process, the removal of undigested food and the waste material from the through the anus is known as, that process we call it as defecation. Got it? Once again I will explain all this process, how the digestion process takes place. The food what we take is ingest through the mouth, and in the mouth the digestion process takes place by making use by the action of tongue, teeth and salivary glands. Okay, in the upper and lower jaw we can observe the salivary glands. They secretes the saliva. So food can be made soften, it can be made moisten. So then it is passes through the esophagus. In the esophagus we can observe the peristaltic movement. There is contraction and expansion of the walls of the esophagus. Esophagus is nothing but it's a food pipe, and through the peristaltic movement the food enters the stomach. Throughout the digestive system, throughout the alimentary canal, we can see the peristaltic movement of the food. In the stomach, by the action of digestive juices, acid and mucus, the digestion process continues. The food will be digested further, and it will remain for 4 hours. Then the food will be transferred into small intestine in the form of semi-solid, that we call it as chyme. Okay, the semi-solid digested food which is transferred to small intestine is known as the chyme. It enters the small intestine in the form of chyme. In the small intestine, further digestion process takes place. Small intestine plays a major role in the digestion process. How? It makes use of the bile juice which is secreted by the liver, and the pancreatic juice which is secreted by the pancreas. So this bile juice will convert the fat into simpler substance, and the pancreatic juice will convert the protein into simpler substance. Also this small intestine secretes the digestive juices. They also convert the fat into simpler substance and the protein into simpler substance. This pancreatic juice will convert the starch into simpler substance. So the food will be digested more further. Small intestine plays an important role in the digestion process. Once the digestion process is over in the small intestine, the walls of the small intestine contain finger-like projections. Okay, these finger-like projections have the ability to absorb the required material. In the small intestine, the digestion and absorption process takes place. The villi will absorb the required nutrients and the remaining food will enter the large intestine. In the large intestine, there we can observe the absorption of water, vitamins and minerals. The remaining undigested food and the waste material will enter the rectum. In the rectum, the food will be stored for some time. And after that, the food will be removed out of the body through the anus. That process we call it as the removal of the undigested food material is known as the process is known as defecation. This is how the digestion process takes place. Okay, now let us discuss about the assimilation and transportation system, how it involves in the nutrition process. Now let us discuss about how the transportation and assimilation process takes place in the body. Okay, the next step in the nutrition process is transportation and assimilation. What is transportation? Transportation means carrying the things from one part of the body into another part of the body. And then assimilation means spreading out into all parts of the body. That is assimilation. Okay, the digested food enters the blood vessels. The digested food will enter the blood through the small intestine. This small intestine is connected to the blood vessels. So, the absorbed material will be transported to the blood vessels. So, these blood vessels will absorb the required materials and it will be transported to all parts of the body. And the body require all these nutrients, materials in order to carry out different processes. It make use of the digested food material in different ways. Okay, what and all things are absorbed by the small intestine? Glucose, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, water, etc. So this glucose is used by the respiratory system in order to get the energy. The glucose will be converted into simpler substance and it is used to get the energy through the respiratory process, through the respiration process. Next thing, fat. Okay, this simpler substance that we get from the fat is stored in the body and it can be used whenever the body require the energy. Then one more thing, proteins. Why protein is important? What is the function of this protein? You might have studied in the lower classes. This protein will be used to protein is used for growth, in order to repair all the cells, organs in the body, in order for the muscle building. For all these process we need this protein. Protein plays an important role for the growth, in order to repair all the cells and organs, and in order to muscle building, in order to build the muscles, and in order to prepare the new materials in the body like proteins, then hormones and all. So this protein is used to make the new materials like proteins and hormones. So it plays an important role for all the life processes.
Now I will show you the animated video of digestion process in human beings.
Digestion in human beings. Human beings take food through mouth and digest it in specific organs for digestion. The undigested food is defecated. The food we take passes through a specific canal which begins with buccal cavity and ends at the anus. This canal is called alimentary canal or the digestive tract. The parts of the alimentary canal are buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, large intestine, small intestine, rectum, and anus. The food gets digested gradually as it passes through the various parts of the tract. Digestive juices secreted by the salivary glands, liver, and pancreas also aid digestion. Mouth and the buccal cavity. Food intake in human beings is through mouth. This process of taking food is called ingestion. Chewing food is very necessary for proper digestion, as digestion process starts in the mouth itself. What happens during chewing? The large pieces of food we eat are mechanically broken down into small pieces. Teeth helps us in doing so. Action of saliva on food. During chewing, food mixes with saliva. Saliva is secreted from salivary glands located on the lower jaw between the tongue and teeth. Saliva converts starch in the food into sugars and also softens the food. Tongue. Taste of food can be detected by the taste buds present on the tongue. Tongue is a fleshy muscular organ attached to the floor of the buccal cavity. It is free at the front and moves in all directions. Taste buds appear as small bumps on the tongue and have different regions which help us enjoy different tastes. Esophagus or food pipe. The swallowed food from the mouth passes onto the esophagus. The epiglottis, which is a flap-like structure behind the tongue, directs the food into the esophagus and prevents entry into the larynx. The peristaltic movements of the esophagus helps the food to move down the tract till it reaches the stomach. Stomach. Stomach is a bag-like structure with thick wall. It is in the shape of a flattened U and is the widest part in the alimentary canal. The food that enters the stomach is churned and mixes with the mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juices secreted by the inner lining of the stomach. The acid helps to kill the bacteria present in the food. It also makes the medium in the stomach acidic. The digestive juices secreted by the stomach break down proteins into simpler substances. Then the food is emptied into small intestine. Small intestine. Small intestine is a highly coiled structure and is about 7.5 meters long. As soon as the small intestine receives food from the stomach, the digestive juices from liver and pancreas are mixed into it. Liver. Liver is the largest gland in the human body and is situated in the upper side of the abdomen. To the right, it is reddish-brown in color. It secretes bile, which breaks down fats. Bile is stored in gallbladder between meals. Pancreas. Pancreas is a leaf-shaped and cream-colored gland located just below the stomach. It secretes pancreatic juice, which acts and breaks down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. After this is completed, the partially digested food reaches the lower part of the small intestine, where intestinal juices act upon the food and completes digestion of any remaining components in food. The carbohydrates in the food break down into sugars like glucose, fats into fatty acids, and glycerol, and proteins into amino acids. The food consumed is digested and is now ready to be absorbed into the blood. Absorption of food in the small intestine. The inner wall of the small intestine has finger-like projections called villi, which have a network of thin blood vessels close to the surface. The villus increases the surface area of absorption and absorbs the digested food materials. The substances thus absorbed are transported through the bloodstream to different organs in the body and are used to build complex substances like proteins. This process is called assimilation. In the cells, glucose breaks down into carbon dioxide and water with the help of oxygen and releases energy. The undigested and unabsorbed food enters the large intestine. Large intestine. The large intestine is wider than small intestine and measures 1.5 meters in length. Once the undigested food enters the large intestine, it absorbs water and some salts from it and passes the remaining waste into the rectum. Here it remains as semi-solid fecus. The fecal matter is removed through the anus. This is called egestion.
Okay, till now we have discussed how the nutrition process takes place in human body. Now let us discuss how the nutrition process takes place in some animals. How the nutrition process is different from human beings. Okay, now let us discuss about how the nutrition process takes place in some animals. You might, all the animals do not follow the same method how the digestion process takes place in human beings or in amoeba, like that. Some animals follow some different method. Their nutrition process is quite different from some animals. You might have observed sometimes these cow buffaloes, they are lying in the shade and they are continuously chewing. They continuously chew. So what is the reason for chewing? What they will do, once they will take the food and they will once they will ingest the food and the food will enter the stomach, again they will take back to the mouth and again they'll chew. That happens in case of cow and buffaloes. So such type of animals, the animals which take back the food from stomach to mouth for further chewing, are known as ruminants. The animals whichever they will take back to the mouth from the stomach and they will digest the food is known as ruminants. For example, I can give so many examples such as cow, sheep, deer, giraffe, buffalo, etc. Because they are having these they are herbivores, okay? They directly depends on plants. In the plants, cellulose is present. That cellulose is little complex structure. It is difficult to digest. So what they will do, once they will take the food, quickly they will ingest the food, again they will take back to the mouth and they will chew and again take back and they will digest. These animals, their digestive system is little quite different, okay? They have 4 chambers in their stomach. We can observe 4 chambers in the stomach. Either I can say there is 4 stomach is present in these ruminants. Now let us discuss in detail how the digestion process takes place in cattle. Okay, the procedure, the steps are similar. They will ingest the food through the mouth and by making use of the salivary glands, teeth, tongue, they will ingest and they will digest the food in the mouth and they will take it to the first chamber in the stomach. Rumen is the first chamber in the stomach. So what happens in the rumen, so many microorganisms are present. These microorganisms, they will they will break down the complex structure into simple substance. They will break down the plant material. In the presence of microorganisms, the breaking down of plant material takes place. So partially digested food which is in the rumen is known as cud. Okay, the partially digested food in the presence of microorganisms in the rumen, that we call it as cud. Once the digestion is over in the rumen, then again they will take back to the reticulum. In the reticulum, either it will be transferred to omasum or it will be transferred to mouth. Again they will bring back to the mouth. So reticulum is the second stomach of the cattle. So reticulum will send the food either to the omasum or to the mouth for further digestion process. So in once they will take the food, they will again they will chew more. Further they will chew and they will take it to the omasum. In the omasum, due to the presence of digestive juices, there is a digestion process takes place, and also there is absorption of water, minerals also takes place in the omasum. Omasum is the third stomach of the cattle. Next step is, once the food is digested in the omasum, will be transferred to abomasum. This abomasum is the real stomach of the cattle. Here the exact digestion process takes place. How in the human beings or in some other animals digestion takes place like that. So due to the presence of so many digestive juices, acid and mucus, the digestion process takes place in abomasum. The food is mixed with all the digestive juices and it will be made into simpler substance. Once it is digested in the abomasum, it will be transferred to small intestine. What happens in the small intestine? Okay, once the food enters the small intestine, they will absorb they will make use of the bile juice, which is secreted by the liver, and the pancreatic juice, which is secreted by the pancreas. Like how in the human beings digestion takes place like that. The small intestine will make use of the bile juice and the pancreatic juice, and the digestive juices released from the walls of the small intestine, and the digestion process continues in the small intestine. Once the digestion process is over in the small intestine, the finger-like projections which are present in the small intestine, they will absorb the required protein, glucose, fat, vitamins, minerals, everything, and the remaining undigested waste material will be sent to the large intestine. Okay, once the digestion process is over, the food, the required materials will be absorbed by the small intestine walls, and the remaining undigested food will be transferred to large intestine. In the large intestine, there is absorption of vitamins, minerals, and water takes place, and whatever required material is taken up by the large intestine, and the remaining undigested food and the waste material will be passed to the rectum. The rectum will keep it for some time, and the waste material will be removed from the body through the anus. This is how the digestion process takes place in ruminants. Okay, the food will be ingested through the mouth, and it will be sent to it will be chewed and swallowed, and it will be sent to the first chamber of the stomach, that is rumen, and in the presence of microorganism presence in rumen, the food will be digested, and the complex plant material will be converted into simpler substance, and again the food will be sent to the second chamber of the stomach, that is reticulum. See, this reticulum will find out. Okay, this reticulum will decide should either it has to send to the mouth or it has to send to the omasum. The either food will be sent to the mouth for further chewing, or it will be sent to the omasum, to the third chamber. Once the food is chewed again properly in the mouth, the food will be sent to omasum. In the omasum, digestion process takes place by using the digestive juices and enzymes. The food will be converted into still further simpler substance. And once the digestion is over in the omasum, the food will be sent to abomasum. In the abomasum, what happens? This is the real digestion process. Okay, this is the real digestive system of the cattle. Okay, here the real digestion process takes place by the presence of, by making use of digestive juices, acids, and by the mucus. The digestion process takes place in the abomasum, like how in the stomach digestion takes place. And once the digestion is over in the abomasum, the food will be sent to the small intestine. Okay, in the small intestine, they will empty the bile juice and pancreatic juice, and they will make use of the small digestive juices which is released from the small intestine for further digestion. Once the digestion is over, there will be conversion of fat into simpler substance, and protein, glucose into simpler substance. Fat, protein, starch into simpler substance, and the required materials will be absorbed by the walls in the small intestine, that is villi. Villi will absorb the required materials, and remaining unwanted food will be sent to large intestine. In the large intestine, there is absorption of water, vitamins and minerals takes place, and the remaining undigested food will be passed through the rectum, and finally it is removed, thrown out of the body through the anus. This is how the nutrition process takes place in ruminants. Okay.
I have the explanatory video about digestion process in ruminants. Now I will show you.
Unlike humans, all grass-eating animals have a special stomach with 4 chambers, namely rumen, reticulum, omasum and abomasum. Let's see the process of digestion in grass-eating animals. The animals quickly swallow the grass and store it in rumen, the first chamber of the stomach. In the rumen, the food gets partially digested. The partially digested food is called cud. The cud is pushed into the reticulum, the second chamber of the stomach, and from here it is sent back into the mouth for thorough chewing. The process of chewing the cud is called rumination, and animals which chew the cud are called ruminants. The rechewed food is swallowed and sent into the omasum, the third and the smallest chamber of the stomach, to absorb excess water from the food. In the omasum, the food is broken down to even smaller pieces. This is then sent to the last chamber, abomasum, which is also called the true stomach. The digested food then goes into the small intestine, where absorption of nutrients takes place. A large sac-like structure called cecum, present between the small intestine and large intestine, also contain bacteria that help in the digestion of cellulose, a carbohydrate that is present in grass. So, you now know why cattle keep chewing all the time.
Okay, we have finished this chapter. Read the textbook. If you have any doubts, please ask me, and try to answer the looking back questions, the simple and multiple choice questions. Then fill in the blanks and true or false. Try to answer them. Then I will give the class notes. Thank you, students.